Look, I just want to get straight to the point in this video. Usually I add in clips and things like that, but I don't want anything distracting us or sidelining us from the point that I feel like needs to be made here. Now, early on in this Maui fire story, there was a lot of talks about children. Of course, now everyone's talking about the missing kids in Maui. But early on, right after this fire happened, there was a lot of discussions about kids. Because people in the area were saying that, the kids were told to stay home from school because of the weather. Therefore, a lot of these kids were home alone as their parents were out at work. So people who live in the area said that, the majority of the people who died in this fire were probably kids. There were several interviews about it. If you go look back a few weeks ago, you'll see news articles about it. On a couple of occasions, the governor of Hawaii even had to acknowledge it. He tries to dodge questions as much as he can, but even he had to acknowledge that more than likely there were going to be a lot of kids among the fatalities down there in Lahaina, right? That was acknowledged. Now, I want to fast forward to where we're at right now. Yesterday, some new numbers were released, and the number of missing people has dropped drastically, down to just 66 people. Originally, it was 3,000, then it dropped to 2,000, then it dropped to 1,000, then it dropped to like 800 and something, and then it dropped to 388, and now we're at 66. The weird thing is, though, as these numbers continue to drop, we're not seeing a rise in the death toll, and that simply does not make sense at all. If all of these people who were missing are no longer missing, surely you would have found some of their remains. Among these thousands of people, surely some of them must have died, right? But no. The death toll has stayed the same for weeks on end. Meanwhile, they're dropping the missing persons list drastically every time you turn around with no explanation. There's no explanation as to how they got to these numbers. There's no discussion about how they found people. We're not seeing any chatter on social media from people in Lahaina finding their loved ones. There's no feel-good stories on the news about people reuniting with their families, yet somehow we're supposed to believe that they managed to locate thousands of people. Meanwhile, the death toll is still sitting the same. So the new number is 66. Multiple families have already complained. I believe last time I checked, which was yesterday, we had about 80 families complaining that their loved ones were not put on the missing persons list. So we already know that these numbers are shady. But let's take a look. Let's take a look at another number. 115 people died in this fire, supposedly. That's the number that they're giving us, all right? So, out of this 115 people, only one of them has been identified as a child. It's been a month, over a month, since the fires in Lahaina. Only one child has been identified. Only one child. Now you take a look at the public school system. There was over 2,000 children missing from the public school system. The number has been revised. Some people, I guess, were checking into school late. Some people registered late. There's a lot going on in the area. That's understandable. The number has been revised, and it's still at over 1,700. Now pause right there with all of the information I gave you and think for a second. Originally, we had 3,000 people missing. Now it's just 66. Everyone in the area was claiming that, oh, a lot of these people who died are kids. It's really sad, but we have to just really stick to the facts here. These people were all claiming that, oh, all of these kids must have died in this fire. Even the governor was like, yeah, a lot of these fatalities are going to be kids. The kids were told to stay home. A lot of these kids were by themselves, trapped in their homes. Yet we only have one child identified. We went from 3,000 people missing to 66 people missing. Still over 1,700 kids missing from the public school system. Yet we're supposed to believe that only one child perished in these flames. Or at least that's what they know of right now, over a month out from this fire. Now you tell me, where the hell are all of these kids? I'm not here, and I can't stress this hard enough. This is not a conspiracy, people. I know there's theories and conspiracies floating around online. I'm not here to tell you that, these kids were abducted and taken in underground tunnels by Oprah and Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg. I'm not here to tell you all of that stuff. But I am here to ask the question. I am here to make the point that obviously something weird is going on here. Where are all of these kids? Everyone in the area, the governor himself admitted that a lot of these fatalities were going to be kids. I mean, it's not like we want bad things to happen, but if you tell us that, and we see that there's 1,700 kids missing from school, and then you tell us, oh, only one kid died in the fire, we identified one kid. Out of the 115 people who supposedly died in this fire, only one child. That doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. When the numbers were at 3,000 people missing, people were saying that, oh, thousands of these people are probably kids who were told to stay home from school, right? That was acknowledged early on. That's one of the reasons why I got involved in this story. Now, I don't think that 3,000 kids are missing or 2,000 kids are missing, but I think that we have a significant number of kids who were unaccounted for after this situation, and I would like to know what in the hell happened to all of them. What happened to all of these kids? How do you go from saying, a lot of the people who died in this fire are kids, to now saying, oh, we identified only one kid out of everyone, only one kid, yet the schools are missing kids. Over 1,700 kids are missing from school still, over a month after the fire. And when you look at these new numbers, you just know that it's bogus. You're not going to sit here and convince me that you had a list of 3,000 missing people and now it's just 66. No rise in the death toll, no explanation, no social media post, nothing explaining how these people were found, nothing explaining how you reached these numbers in the first place, nothing. Nothing. And these are young kids. It's not like these kids hopped in a car and sped out of the area. We've seen tons of video from Front Street and the people who tried to jump or had to jump in the water and things like that. We didn't see a bunch of kids without their parents. We saw kids with their parents, but it's not like we saw a significant amount of kids who were saving themselves, banding together. You know what I mean? We didn't see any of that. So you can only assume that a lot of these kids were trapped in the fire. And when you look at the number of missing kids or the number of kids missing from school, you look at it and it's a devastating number because you're thinking like, damn, 1,700 kids. Now, of course, 1,700 kids are missing from the public school system. Not all of them have anything to do with this fire, so let's just take out a few hundred. You still got like 1,000 kids. Let's just say 1,000. Give or take, some of them are probably okay, but they haven't registered for school because they basically lost their whole livelihoods. Their family lost everything, right? But still, somewhere in there, I mean, just really think about it. Look at the numbers. How can we only be looking at only one child identified deceased from this fire? How? It doesn't make sense to me. Where are all of these people? Where are all of these kids? And that's the question that we need to keep asking. Because right now they want to make you feel like you're a conspiracy theorist. And we have idiots online spreading nonsense that makes us look like conspiracy theorists. But like I said, I'm not here to spread anything. I'm here to ask a question. I gave you the numbers. These are the numbers provided by them, by the government. So you come to your own conclusion. I gave you the facts. I gave you the numbers. You tell me what you think. You tell me what you think happened to all of these kids. Why do we only have one kid identified as deceased? 1,700 missing from the school system. And everyone in the area, even the governor, acknowledged that most of the people trapped in the flames were probably children. It doesn't add up. It makes me feel really weird. It makes me feel like there's something icky and disgusting going on here. Maybe there's not. But something ain't right. Either the information that y'all provided isn't right, or there's something going on. One of the two. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.